Have I said it? Chapter 5. Seeking. There is nothing to be attained. Bubba Free John, 1974. There is no growth into God, truth and reality. There is only God, truth and reality. You cannot be more and more absorbed into God, truth and reality. It is the principle of one's life, the God, truth and reality, not merely the goal. It is not that consciousness must evolve. Consciousness must be lived. There is nothing to be attained. I mean nothing. Have I said it? Nothing. Damn it. There is nothing to be attained. Not one thing is to be attained. Nothing. There is not a single thing to be attained. Have I said it? There is no experience, no transformation of state. The attitude which is the great search is created by a most prior error, the failure to be already real. The search is not the point of view of God, truth or reality. Every motive is seeking. Every turning away is avoidance. Every turning upwards is avoidance. Every turning downwards is avoidance. Every turning towards is avoidance. All these things are seeking, for they are not abiding now in the form of God, truth and reality. The search makes no sense at all. It is an illusory and false principle. Only the living God, truth and reality avails. There is no dilemma, no search, and no fulfillment of the search. Life need not be tied to seeking and the pursuit of its own nature as a goal. Real life is not another form of seeking. Real life is not a matter of experience and evolution. It is to be founded in radical present consciousness. Life is the wisdom of seeking, which is no wisdom at all. Truth is the wisdom of no seeking, which is only wiser than life. Reality is the wisdom of no dilemma, which is wisdom itself. There is nothing ultimate about life. Its best wisdom is the knowledge of how to play games. There is nothing radically useful about consciousness of God, truth and reality. Its best wisdom is the knowledge that all life is seeking. Only God, truth and reality is a radical value beyond all truth and all life. Its highest wisdom is the knowledge that seeking and no seeking are attitudes in the same dilemma. The thing men affirm themselves to be is different from that which they are actively being. Therefore, the business and creative activity of life is the activity of knowing about what we are being. This, rather than any search toward or affirmation of what we otherwise and ultimately may or must be. Thus, it is to live already free, radically related, unqualifiedly alive, without boundaries or centre, but only situations or forms, only manifesting which is unqualified energy in relationship, which is love. The scheme of all the universes, material or immaterial, high or low, with its endless times of birth and death, and its numberless kinds of learning, is itself the way and the destiny of all ordinary and extraordinary men. Only those who weary of the way, as well as every kind of escape from the way, become willing to engage the divine process in which their very life consciousness is sacrificed in its own condition and nature. All others, high and low, are devoted to their own unending path, from which there is no perfect relief, except on the day all worlds, ages and heavens dissolve in the sleep of God. The world is seeking nothing more. Seekers are the world. The seeker is only a reaction to his own suffering. The prior action, the thing that is really occupying and motivating every man, is suffering itself. The seeker is not a functional being. He is eccentric. He is elsewhere. He doesn't work. He has no capacity for relationship, for simplicity. There is no love, no functional light. The force of conscious life, of bliss, does not move as him. He is always a little screwed up, always somehow unhappy. Those who do not understand seek reality as a mystery and enjoy life as a given dilemma. Those who do not sacrifice all things while abiding in God, truth and reality are in turn sacrificed unwillingly upon it while grasping for the answer. For one who doesn't understand, who is already unconscious, already bound to the principle of ordinary life, everything appears as a dilemma. Everything implies a dilemma. Everything. He looks at the sky, dilemma. Life is a dilemma. It begins to seem that even this simple experience, just sitting here, has become a question. It is as if the sky were a question, but in itself it is not a question. There is no question. You are the question. Your state is the quality of dilemma, of disease. Your state is your question. All questions are from this point of view, because this is the archetype of questions. This is the only question. This is the dilemma. This is our fundamental experience from moment to moment. The question is the questioner. The problem is the seeking itself. The dilemma is dissolved not by action, but by prior truth. The true answer must be a radical transformation of your state. God, truth and reality is the answer. There is nothing that a man can do to save himself, to become enlightened, to become realized. Nothing whatsoever. If there was something, I would tell you. But there is nothing. There is nothing anybody can do to get free. Nothing any human being has ever done has ever liberated himself or anybody else. Liberation is God's business. Everything you do is that search until God, the truth, the heart, enters the picture as a God, truth and reality in relationship. It is not you that becomes perfect. God, truth and reality is already perfect, and divine absorbs you. You become perfect by becoming nothing, by absorption in the divine. Nobody does that. How could you possibly do that? How offensive to think that you could possibly do that. In the presence of the heart, seeking is inappropriate. What is always appropriate is understanding and the spontaneous surrender of seeking. What is always inappropriate is the search and its defense. What is appropriate is simply obvious. What in fact is appropriate is always appropriate. There is no search that is appropriate. It is time for an end to all seeking. The life of seeking is founded in prior dilemma, and it does not work. The search is futile. Ultimately, the search is failing. The principle of the search is suffering. To be in the state of seeking, whatever the form, is to be in the same state of suffering. Fear is the most basic form of seeking. Your trouble is an illusion. Your search is a reaction to your suffering. Your actual dilemma has barely been conceived by you, barely experienced. At the very best, the search itself begins to break down. Eventually, everything will break down. Those who dream long enough, who try all the alternatives within the dream, who have suffered all the attainments and failures within the dream, why no longer have anywhere to go? Who no longer have anywhere to go? Who are only dreaming? Who are suffering? Who no longer take their search seriously? For whom the search is no longer the thing to which they resort, who have despaired of their adventures, their ecstasies, their attainments, their ways, their methods, who are only suffering, who are only in dilemma, who in fact are only experiencing this contraction, the compulsive avoidance of relationship, but are doing nothing about it any longer, who know they cannot do anything about it any longer. They become sensitive to the sunlight. When you no longer have any alternatives, when the search has died, then God, truth and reality becomes your real possibility. Then truth, real life, enters as a living possibility. It will be your obvious need when you have no options, when you no longer have any more options, when you have worn yourself out, doing your number, and you have tried all the trips and methods, paths and lifestyles, strategies and places to go, then all of that begins to break down. That is really the most hopeful sign. You are only upset, so you want, so what difference does the search make? When all that has failed, then suffering itself becomes the point, becomes the experience, rather than all of your seeking that is only a reaction to it. Then the man falls into his suffering, becomes conscious of his suffering, understands his suffering, and sees what is already the case. When there is no defense left, when the bottom falls out, when there is nothing to stand on, that is liberation. When you see it absolutely, when you see the thing itself, the simple thing, that is the end of it. You fall apart. You scream, or you can't say anything, but it just ends. All of a sudden, the whole process is not going on anymore. It becomes unnecessary and, at last, impossible. There is only divine consciousness, and you are that. There is only bliss. Da.